Hey there, garage people. So I've got a Chrysler, it's actually for a Ram 2013 Key Fob that we know has worked in past, but it's stopped working now. So trying to figure out what's wrong with it before we go and drop a bunch of money on a new Key Fob. And then on these particular Chrysler vehicles, you can't just simply add the key fob. You have to, because of this smart key or whatever, I think they call it a fobic piece that has to mesh up with the vehicle's computer. You have to get it programmed, and that can be fairly expensive. So here's one trick that you might be able to use to save yourself some money and repair it yourself. Actually, you want to remove the metal key first. This is a new one that we had purchased, so the key's not cut. But anyways, some of these have a screw. The factory original, there'll be a screw in here that you have to take off before you can pop it open like that. And it's gonna be a really teeny tiny screw, and you're gonna need a little teeny tiny screwdriver. We had this one from a previous key fob that we were working on, but you'll have to take that screw out. Anyhow, once you get this apart and you pop it open, some of them will have the battery on this side that just touches these contacts. The factory original, the battery's built in right there. So once you get that open, what you need to do is pop this part out of this rubber piece right here, and this actually separates. So here's the rubber cover, and peel out the board, and what you'll find inside are these metal contacts. And depending on how many buttons your key has, well, it'll have more contacts. In this situation, this one has a panic button, unlock, lock, and remote start. So you can see how those line up there. And the idea with these contacts is they're kind of like a convex dome shape, and what happens, this outer ring gets contact with that center ring by pushing down on that. And again, it's convex, so it'll pop back up once it's done. So in this situation, you can see those are all lined up right where they should be. And there's also a little plastic protector right here to prevent debris and just other nastiness that could happen in your pocket from getting onto those contacts or shifting them around or anything like that. So I want to show you the one that we were having trouble with. Let's move this off to the side and show you exactly why there was a problem. So this was the factory original that we were having a problem with, and I've already taken it apart, and I want to show you the board where the contacts were. Something does not look right. And actually, I already opened this up and cleaned it off. It had a bunch of goop and nastiness, but that's the position the contacts were in. The only button that was working on it, if you can guess, was the lock button. All the other buttons were not working. The remote start wouldn't work, the unlock wouldn't work, and the panic wouldn't work. And it was because these contacts had shifted. It looked like the adhesive had just broken down and it was turned into like a goop on the board, and all these contacts were shifted around. And I noticed this one does not have a protective film over it to keep debris out. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this one up. And what I am using to clean it up, you could use isopropyl alcohol, but I'm just using some brake and parts cleaner. Very carefully spraying it onto a rag, putting it on a rag first, and then I'm gonna wipe off. I'm actually gonna move all these contacts off of this board, and then I'm gonna use that brake cleaner. And by the way, I've removed the battery out of here so that we're not causing issues with the board. But you gotta be very careful with these things. They're super light. If you drop them, you may lose it forever. So, and I actually rubbed a magnet on these tweezers just to help keep the contacts from flying around. But anyways, so then I'll take some of this brake cleaner, spray it on this rag, very carefully wipe off the board so that you get rid of all the goop and nastiness. You want a nice, perfectly clean board. And then do the same thing with these, and that's where you're gonna have to be super careful. Some tweezers will really help out, but you're gonna grab hold of these. Same thing, get this wet with some brake cleaner, wipe it off really well. This had so much goop and nastiness on it that I ended up taking a drill and putting a cotton swab, cutting a cotton swab in half, putting that, here's the other half of that one, put it at the end of a drill, and then use that to slowly, with some brake cleaner on there, clean it off. And you'll know if they're dirty. This contact was like filthy dirty before. It had all sorts of black nastiness in there, but now it is clean and shiny, ready to go. And you can also test, without putting it all back together, you could test the, to see if it works by just placing the contact on there, putting the battery in, and then if you listen carefully, you can hear that clicking in and out. So you can just walk over to the vehicle and see if that still works. I put the battery back in, and I've got the contact just resting in place there. So here, let's give it a try and see if it works. Yep, I heard it unlock and the lights flashed. So that tells us that the key fob does in fact work. So now what we need to do is just get these contacts put back in place and close it up. And here's the fix right here. Just take some tape, tape those contacts onto the board. Got 3 of the 4 in place, so just taking a small slice of tape, cutting it in half, and then dropping the tape in place, being careful to keep that contact button in place. So there we are. I'll just go ahead and trim off this tape. But before we do this, let's just double check and verify that it works before we slap it all back together. So here we go. So now that we know it works, we'll clean this up, put it back together, and be on our way. All right, now that we got this all put back together, let's just double check and make sure buttons work. Let's just verify that the key works as well.